For more than a decade, China has been modernizing the People's Liberation Army. China's armed forces have made such huge strides, according to Defense Minister Liang Guanglei, that the country's fighter jets, tanks, warships, and ballistic missiles equal or come close to matching the arsenals of Western nations. The Pentagon says China's ability to sustain military power at a distance is limited. But top officials are also concerned about Beijing's increased focus on nuclear, space, and cyber warfare. U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates.
Their investments in cyber and anti-satellite warfare, anti-air and anti-ship weaponry, and ballistic missiles could threaten America's primary way to project power and help allies in the Pacific.
The United States uses aircraft carriers and submarines and other military assets to project power in the Pacific region. Military analysts warn that China is trying to develop a new anti-ship long-range missile that could threaten the U.S. Navy's ability to stage operations close to China. Roger Cliff focuses on China's military at the RAND Corporation. He says China's missiles could be launched in a variety of ways.
U.S. surface ships, including U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups that are within about 1,000 miles of China's coast, are going to be vulnerable to attack by aircraft, surface ships, and submarines.
While China's relations with Taiwan have improved in recent months, Beijing continues to add to the missiles it has pointed at the island. Retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Eric McVaden directs Asia-Pacific Studies at the Institute for Foreign Policy Analysis.
It is a very difficult thing to imagine a two-pronged campaign, one against Taiwan and one against an intervening American force, of course, the world's only superpower. So China doesn't have the experience and the forces and so forth to expect to be able to do that very effectively.
China says its military budget for this year is $70 billion, although the U.S. Defense Department estimates it could be as high as $150 billion. Beijing says China's military modernization is aimed purely at protecting the country's security and interests. Bernard Cole of the U.S. National Defense University.
I really believe that the number one national security goal in China is simply keeping the Chinese Communist Party in power.
The United States and China recently renewed military-to-military cooperation, which has involved U.S. Navy ships visiting Chinese ports and meetings between officers. The commander of U.S. forces in the Pacific, Admiral Timothy Keating, says he would like to include joint military exercises.
I happen to believe that partnership is an essential element of stability throughout the Asia-Pacific region.
Analysts say the U.S. and Chinese militaries should cooperate to provide humanitarian assistance during emergencies as a way to build trust between the two nations. Admiral McVaden.
For the moment, we have to hedge. Both sides have to hedge because we're fearful that a conflict could arise.
U.S. defense officials have long expressed concern about the lack of transparency in China's military affairs. In a bid to better communicate its intentions, China's defense ministry recently launched a website in Chinese and English that contains numerous links to military news, photographs, and videos. Meredith Buell, VOA News, Washington.